when you were a kid, were you a good kid or a bad kid?
I think I was a good kid,
You
but I
were?
don't know if my
Okay.
parents would agree
Okay.
with that.
So what would your parents, if your mom and dad were right here, would they say you were a good kid or a bad kid?
Well, I guess it depends who the audience was, but I will say that my parents thought I was the black sheep of the family.
Okay, all right. So you were a bad kid. So you were a bad
in
kid.
their eyes.
But do you? So you don't feel you were a bad kid though. But did you get good grades?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
really good grades.
So why would you, in your mind, think that maybe you might have been a bad kid?
To them?
Yeah.
Because I'm an adventurous person. I like to push boundaries. I think it's what makes me who I am. So my older sister, she was really good. I mean, my mom was really good too. She was like the eldest daughter in her family. She did everything for my grandparents. I tell my mom all the time, I was like, you're the best daughter that's ever lived on planet Earth. Okay. My grandparents, when they got sick, until they passed away, my mom was still taking care of them until they died. And so she would go work at the hospital. She used to work at the ER and med-surg at a government facility. Hard work. That's why I left bedside, because it was such hard work. Didn't really appreciate my mom back then until I became a nurse and I was in bedside. But after those long hours, she would go and see my grandpa, and then also like he couldn't walk anymore, and she would move him and change him and clean him. And she wouldn't even get home until like late, you know? So she was just like the best daughter ever. I still would love to take care of my parents. That's why I even got into wellness too. But to her degree, it was just, being the age that she was, having 3 kids, that was a lot. So,
It's part of the culture though, because
yes.
you're Filipino. So it's part of the culture. You take care of your parents. I mean, in my business, I think I told you I have like 40% of my organization is Filipino.
Yeah.
And you just, again, I mean, some of my best friends are in our business working with us, and they take care of their family. I mean, like unlike anything I've ever seen before. I mean, it's pretty amazing. I mean, in your childhood, did you face any challenges? Like, did you have challenges with anything? Like, if you were to think back, any problems that you had as a kid, or did you have a pretty flawless childhood?
So my parents grew up hardworking. They were, middle class, and my parents wanted the best for us. They came here. They were born in the Philippines. They met in Chicago. My mom used to live in an apartment and had to rotate beds, walk in the snow. My dad came because my grandpa fought in World War II, so he was able to like bring the whole family here. And they just both showed me like work ethic, and working hard. But with that being said, we weren't rich, and they still wanted us to have a Catholic education and learn about God. So I went to private school. I wouldn't say it was like bad. It wasn't a challenging life, but when you put me into a private school where my parents are middle class and everybody in the school they have money, I couldn't do a lot of the things that they did. I couldn't buy the things that they could. So in my mind, I felt like, oh, I'm kind of poor, but then I look back, and that same high school it's more than Cal State Long Beach. And I'm just like, how did my parents do it? They had 3 kids. They put us all through private school since I was in, first grade for me, because they wouldn't accept me at kindergarten because of my birthday. But my parents put me in school early. And I'm like, how did they put us all through private school and help us with college? Like, that's insane.
Because they worked their ass off
exactly
to take care of you guys,
and,
right?
Yeah. My parents always said, if you have faith, like God's going to provide, you just do your best. God's going to do the rest. But also they're very safe. They didn't want me to start my own business. They wanted me to work for a government job, because my mom lives off a pension, and that's how they thought was the safest route for me.
Do you think that a lot of people, they listen too much to their parents, maybe, where, almost, because what I see people, they listen to their parents so much that it stops them, because parents always want you to be safe, right? I mean,
Right.
parents don't want you to venture out and, invest in a company or,
Yeah.
quit your job and go into an entrepreneurial, lifestyle. And so I see so many people, they listen to their parents. Their parents, they're 21, 25 years old, and their parents says, no, you got to get a good job, safe job, go to college, get a degree, do everything they tell you, get a job with benefits, and then you'll have a great life. And somebody like me says, well, wait a minute, I don't believe in all that shit, right? Like, I quit college. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I went into sales. I built a company, financially free by the time I was 28. So, I mean, I look back, had I listened to my parents, my life would be completely different right now.
You're speaking my parents' language, again, being a parent, I'm not a parent yet, but I have a lot of friends and family that are parents, and they just want the best for their kids. And what they knew was what they knew. And they were so upset with me when I decided to leave or start this new adventure. They're like, what are you doing? You didn't go to school for that. I mean, even as a young girl, when I was in high school, people would come up to me like, you should do modeling, you should do acting. And like a long time ago, I actually met Mario Lopez at this thing because my dad took me, and he's like, she would be great like on TV. I did the skit thing, and we sat down and they wanted me to take acting classes because they were like, look, we have an agent for her. She just needs to take this and that. And they were like, we can't do it, Rach. Like, you need to go to school and you need to go to college. And once you're done, you could do whatever you want. But, that wasn't true, right? Because even now they try to tell me still what to do.
Right.
But that's just being a parent. And hopefully, we'll see what happens when I have a kid one day and they just do everything that I tell them not to do. But they didn't want me to start businesses. And now I think they see how much I'm able to do for them and give back to them and say, I got the check, or I'll pay for this, or let me pay for your massage. And now they're like, oh, we love Revive and Rejuvenate. What else do you got?
Exactly, yeah.
Initially, my dad didn't even want to do any IVs, didn't want to do any peptides because he hates shots. My mom too. And now they're like, oh yeah, when can we get the next round? It's
funny how that is. What do they always say? They say that, first they ridicule you, in life, right? And then they kind of start figuring out what you're doing. And then later on they say, oh, we knew you were going to be a natural. We knew you were going to be amazing at it. And I think that people like us, because we are entrepreneurs, we're people that there's something inside of us that wants to do something bigger and better, make a bigger impact, make a bigger difference in for ourselves, but also for other people as well. And I think that takes courage, man. It takes guts. It takes somebody with a will, like an iron will to go, I'm going to go do something big with my life. And so we got to be really careful at listening to people that may not be the same personality as we are, right? I mean, because we're all different personalities. We all think differently. Some people are more introverted, or some people are more scared to take risks. Some people are adventure. They have adventure inside them. So I think that ultimately, if you're feeling it, and I'm just talking to the audience right now, if you're feeling like what we're saying is resonating with you, you got to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take the leap of faith, because this is the way I always looked at it too, is worst case scenario, I went bankrupt. That's what I always used to think. I used to think worst case scenario, I go bankrupt, because if I don't try, I'll never know. Wonder if I make it. Wonder if it actually works like I said it was going to work. If you like this video and you want to watch another one, click right here.